There are times when we play Fanny, the game is so easy, you're in the flow, you're in the zone, and nothing seems to stop you. But there are also times when the game is so hard that it seems like there's nothing you can do to win. There are two different playstyles that you need to adapt corresponding to each situation, but there's only one strategy that would secure the win whatever the game is. Now let's look at the easy game first, where your roamer helps you, nobody invades you, and the enemy has little to no CCs and they are all squishy heroes. Now this would be the right time to be very aggressive with your rotation, so you start with your own jungle, invade the enemy jungle, that's your priority, the jungle, and then you can look at ganking lanes once you've cleared your jungle, or once if there's opportunity to gank. Just remember that after each kill, go back to your jungle, be ahead in farm, don't waste any time lingering in the lanes waiting for an opportunity for a kill. If you're waiting to gank a lane, wait in the jungle. You're Fanny, you have the best mobility in the game, you can just zip in and out. You can reach the lane fast wherever you are in the jungle. What happened right there is I rotated towards gold lane and always keeping an eye on the gold lane while I am farming the creeps in the jungle. And then once I TP'd back, once the gank is done, the purple buff is up. Normally the priority is turtle, but Cho revealed that their enemy jungler is by their purple buff, so nobody's taking the turtle now. So we have time to get this purple buff to get ourselves ready for any kind of team fight. Once you incapacitated the enemy jungler, it would be much easier to gank the lanes. Normally here, after that kill, I would take the enemy purple, but my HP is too low and the retribution, I just used it on the enemy jungler. So no point in trying to steal the purple buff because it's going to be easier for the enemy to take it. That's why I'm taking my own purple buff, and after that, gank top lane. Safe to say that we're controlling the map already, and we're gonna intensify that control by taking the crab, the litho, and the turtle. Next item would be the sea halberd, and that's because of Angela. And here's an important point: just because the game is easy, it doesn't mean that you don't have to counter the enemies. The reason why it's easier, it's because you itemize properly according to the enemy hero composition. And by the way, sea halberd gives good attack speed for jungling, farming, and even pushing. Okay, that's a good attempt to get another kill, and since the jungle is basically cleared at this point, we can afford to wait here at bottom lane to gank Leslie. Alright, I would say that was a very successful gank as Melissa, our marksman, got the double kill. Okay, after that, we're just in time for the jungle, the purple buff, the orange buff, the golem, and then the enemy jungle. And because we're so far ahead, we can even give the orange buff to Cho as we make our way to the turtle. And you might be wondering, why take the turtle now? It's almost 8 minutes. Why not wait for the Lord to come out? Well, the answer is I just want the shield so that we can continue applying pressure and eventually control the map. So it's gonna be a cycle of jungling and ganking the lanes. But if you want to win the game, it's not enough to dominate it by jungling and ganking. You actually have to push. So at this point of the game, we're gonna head to phase 2 of the plan, which is to push all over the map. Of course, if there are enemy heroes, you need to deal with them first, but if they're out of the picture, they escape, they run away, or you simply kill them, then that's the time you can push. And if your team is able to help, then you can secure the Lord, or else it's gonna be very difficult to secure the Lord on your own unless you have lifesteal. And once it's spawned, you can go for the push. We can say that this game is fairly easy, but what should we do if the game is too hard? We got hard CCs, we got enemy roamers invading you constantly and with good timing because they're reading your movements very well. And here's a small detail, just because the enemy roamer is Franco, I want to bring the purple buff into the bush. Though this Mincitar is helping, but I wasn't able to do that. Nevertheless, he drove Franco away and I was able to secure the purple buff. In this game, I actually had a good start. I was a bit aggressive at the beginning. I was able to take down Karina, took one of her camps, and helped with top lane. And also get the golden crab. But here's where the mistake happened. When Karina and Franco were invading, I missed quite a lot of cables, so I was forced to back out with low energy. But instead of being contented of being alive, I went back in. A better move there would have been to go back to base to regen energy, and then once energy is full, then engage the enemies. And the enemies are beginning to have momentum. We tried to fight back, but they ended up winning every team fight. And much more, they timed their invades very well. The next time they invaded, I secured the purple buff, but at the cost of Selena's life. It was at this point that I decided that I need a new strategy, which is farm and push. We're gonna split push and then avoid the enemies at all times, especially Franco. If there's an area on the map where Franco is definitely not there, that's where I'll be. Okay, so since Franco is at mid, I'm gonna stay in this area, taking the crab first and then pushing this lane. Once we lost vision of Franco, we're gonna hide, and if we see him again at any point in the map, then we're gonna push this lane. Since it's only Hanabi here at top lane, we're gonna stay. But I'm just always keeping an eye on Franco at the minimap. Now I'm gonna hide myself from enemy vision on the map by taking this camp and see where Franco's gonna go. So we're safe to engage this Hanabi even tower dive. Okay, now there's no more time to take this tower because the enemies are on their way here, so I'm just gonna TP back to base, and unfortunately they got Popol. Now my teammates are pushing mid lane, so the enemies will be naturally busy defending mid lane, so I have a chance to take this purple buff. Then they're currently taking the Lord, so I have a chance to push mid lane. However, they were quick to defend. Meanwhile, enemy Hanabi is solo at top lane pushing, so we're gonna deal with the push instead. After that, I tried to see if I can do something in teamfights, but it turns out the enemy composition would bulldoze us anytime. With that, it's very clear that we could not face the enemy head-on. So I'm gonna continue to split push while my teammates are keeping them busy. And when the enemies are not showing in the map anymore, you better be sure that they're going after you. So go to the other side of the map, TP first back to base, and I'm gonna push bottom lane, observe enemy movement, and take it from there. Alright, we're gonna hide from enemy vision to see if they're coming this way. But actually they're just staying at mid, so we're gonna go ahead with the turret. Alright, we're gonna hide in this bush once again to see if they're gonna come and defend, but actually they're staying at mid, so it's a go signal to push this tower. Alright, there's a good chance they're heading this way, so we're gonna hide in the bush once again. And we're gonna get ready to cable out once they come, but it's revealed that they're taking the Lord. So it's a go signal as well for us to push this lane. And here's a neat trick. If your minions come in contact with the enemies while pushing, don't go with them the first instance because it would make the enemies relax. They would just think that it's just minions and you're not pushing. So they wouldn't recall and they would choose to engage with your allies. And once they engage with your allies, that's the time that you would go for that push. Alright, that's 3 turrets in a row now, but we're gonna back out just a bit so that the enemies would think that it's just the minions, and once they're busy, we're gonna go in. But unfortunately, the Lord has spawned and we don't have a minion wave anymore. And so I recalled back to base to deal with the Lord push and deal with lingering enemy heroes. Alright, and we're able to deal with this push without the enemy heroes bearing down on us. And at this point, the enemies are getting cocky. They're coming in one by one thinking that they're invincible. Don't get me wrong, they're still tanky and they still deal a lot of damage, but 5 versus 1, the result is obvious. Alright, my teammates should be able to deal with Fire Mist at this point, so I'm gonna head over to bottom lane and take out the super minions that spawned with the Lord. It's looking good right now, but we have a team fight where the enemies focused all their skills on me, and that allowed my teammates to wipe them out. However, we were not able to finish the game. Somehow the enemies were able to defend and wipe us out. Alright, we just respawned and a team fight is happening by the mid river. I'm not gonna participate. I'm just gonna push top lane and hopefully get to the base. However, Karina is defending, so I'm gonna switch over to bottom lane. Alright, I'm gonna do the same trick as I did before. I let the minions go first so that the enemies would not think that I'm with the minions pushing. If you want to learn how to master Fanny in 30 days, watch this video just right here. See you there.